The current trade war has a heightened focus on Made in China 2025 economic initiative, which, among other things, aims to build a world-class semiconductor industry for China. What are some issues that China faces as it tries to achieve self-efficiency in semiconductor R&D and production? Today, we spoke with Tso-Ping Ma, a semiconductor expert and Yale professor. What are some areas that in technology innovation that China still needs to catch up? How can we do that?
China is very strong in getting into market and very quickly. So whoever produces a chip, they can see applications. So in Shenzhen, a lot of cell phones came out, sometimes sooner than iPhone. And so that's the strength of Chinese innovation in the market applications area. And however, in circuit design, also, China is doing very, very well. Of course, a couple of them purchased existing nice design companies, and then they enlarge. And so I think they are almost on the par worldwide. What's lacking is the manufacturing, the production of chips, integrated circuit. And that's the one that you can't just purchase TSMC or you need the people. If you purchase TSMC, they sell you certain. If you just have the fab without the people, won't work. TSMC built a very advanced fab in Nanjing, in Jiangbei Xinqu, but they made a deal, they said, we will supply all of the key engineers and we won't have to recruit from China because they know they can't recruit such people quickly. So China agreed. That means even if you have this advanced fab, you're not going to get technology transfer to China. Right? They are making really advanced, much more advanced than Zhongxin, not the Zhongxin Tongxin, but the Zhongxin Guoji as a chip foundry. The one in Nanjing is much more advanced than China's most advanced foundry. But they're not going to benefit from the presence, just like Samsung has this memory fab in Xi'an, very advanced. Hynix has in Wuxi, very advanced. But sometimes China would count them as Chinese producers, but they are not going. China will not get benefit of technology transfer. One has to realize this is the area that takes long-term investment, requires really talent.
China will not get a benefit from the technology transfer because China is actually mainly doing manufacturing.
No, the manufacturing involves a lot of, especially advanced manufacturing, like TSMC fab in Nanjing. They have many, many advanced engineers, experienced engineers from Taiwan, or they hire from internationally because they couldn't find talents with experience in China. So China has to produce, say, students or gradually get trained and takes time to build up the experience. So that's the one area that will take longer time. Well, despite money cannot solve that problem.
So that's a talent problem.
It's a talent problem, the right talent. One advantage of China produces the largest number of engineers. Even in IC engineers, they produce every year. But it's top-heavy. Most of these engineers are application-oriented. because that's where they can make money quickly. They go to Alibaba, not really help the manufacturing of chips.
Those type of engineers.
Those type of engineers, right. It takes a longer time. And they don't get as quick advance as the application engineers.
Obviously, for a lot of Westerners, they think China doesn't have innovation. They can only copy technology from the West. Do you still agree with that sentiment? And
I think that's the consequence. If you are the funder, the people who provide the fund, would like to see tangible results next year, 2 years from now. And there's no time to really do fundamental research which will sort of flourish in 10 years after you plant the seed. Somehow, I think whoever provides the fund should understand you should put aside small amount, 5%, not to expect such 5% money will get results next year or even 10 years. I think even 5% of such fund is greater than whatever the U.S. is supporting R&D in this field.
How much percentage of the whole funding was actually was used for R&D in China?
I don't see much because I see the reports from them. The huge chunk of money goes to enlarging the fabrication facilities, buying equipment, buying U.S. companies, buying European companies. So purchase a company may take 1 year, immediately your result or your sale market value increase 100%, or that's the quickest way to show results. And I see very little still going into supporting R&D. And I talk to people who manage such funds. They say, we understand completely what you're talking about, but the people who supply me money for me to manage, they wish to see results 业绩 next year, 2 years from now. 3 years from now, I may change jobs. And so if I don't produce within 2 years, it doesn't affect me at all.
So do you think that's the deep-rooted reason for China's technology sector to be still in that current situation of lagging behind the West? And
I think that certainly the money helps, a huge amount of money. You see progress. But one would expect much more efficiency from such investment. So, and one of the reasons why I don't expect high efficiency of investment, return of investment, is this mentality.